My mistake. There you go. You should have me now, do you? Okay, sorry about that. Welcome to Focus Today. I made a mistake and I didn't turn my mic on, so it's my mistake. I apologize for that. Anyway, today is a very special edition of Focus Today. Guess what? We're not doing anything that's on the log. No, today we are going to pay tribute to one of our very own. And it's really a day of incredible mixed emotions. Because tomorrow is the last day of work with our manager of the Dove TV, who is actually responsible for everything that has happened here at the Dove TV. Michael Brown, who has been with us 4.5, almost 5 years here at the Dove, is going back to New Zealand for about 8 weeks, and then he'll be going to Australia to head up a video project there with UCB Australia. And so today, he has no idea that we've done this, and he's probably dying in the next room. But Michael, you were here about 10 seconds ago, and you rearranged the studio. Now you need to come back and push the monitor away and come in here and get hooked up. Sit down with me, and because we're going to honor you the best way we know how. And the only thing I can tell you is the last 4.5 years with Michael has been absolutely incredible. He has changed the Dove forever. And so, Michael, are you getting plugged in there? You're not going to do what I did.
Good morning.
How are you, my friend?
Very good. Well, this is a surprise. I was expecting my surprise show tomorrow, but you've surprised me.
Well, that's why we did it today. So we knew you would be expecting something.
Well, there
tomorrow.
we go.
Okay.
So, well, you were 30 seconds away from here, and you didn't have the studio right. You had it set for a guest, and I said, well, there's no guest in there.
Well,
we need to throw all of that equipment out.
We came this close to fibbing, but we got by. Okay, but no, today's the day, and I don't know how to express what you have done for the Dove. And you know, I woke. This is the truth. I woke up last night about 2 o'clock, and I tossed and turned until 4 o'clock this morning when I normally got up, and I was just thinking about all kinds of things. And certainly for you and Fiona and the boys, as you head home to where's home? Christchurch is for you.
We know home's a lot of places. It's New Zealand. It's because we've lived in a number of places. Our families live in the South Island of New Zealand, in Christchurch for my parents, and at the utter ends of the earth is where Fiona's parents live. If you look it up, if you Google Maps, look up Invercargill, go as far south as you can before you get to Antarctica, and that's where they live.
Wow.
But home for us before that, we lived in Auckland, and that's where we lived most recently. So when we go back home to New Zealand, we've got a lot of travelling to do there. We've got to, spend time with our families, and then of course with our friends, where we most recently lived in Auckland as well.
Well, I'll never forget, Michael came to us about 4.5 years ago, and we had just negotiated the license to do a television station here at the Dove, and that only took about 20 years, 22 years or something to make that happen. And I had met you on a couple occasions through some UCB events, but you and I were at the NRB.
Yes.
And the NRB was over. It's in Nashville, Tennessee, and we were flying home, and we happened to be at the airport at the same time. And we were sitting there at the airport, and I went over to him and I said, Michael, you know, if the Lord ever just really moves on your heart and you want to come help us put a television station on in America, give me a call. To me, it was the furthest thing from mine. I just flippantly said it. And I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks later I got an email from you.
Well, you know what? That would have been in the February or March, and then it transpired that UCB International were trying to come over here and help talk you out of this ridiculous idea of putting on the television station. So Dennis Delaney said, well, come on over and tell Perry what a bad idea this is, and tell him the facts of life as it relates to putting on television, how expensive it is, how involved it is. Tell him that you can't do it with just one people. You're going to need an army of people. Who would have ever thought or dreamed that you would have had a whole crew of people as we do today? I mean, that really is a miracle, God's miracle. Just the incredible, talented people in the room right next to us here in the control room, the 4 or 5 of them there, and they do this every day because they're passionate about it, and that's what it takes to do it.
Well, Dennis did come over and tell me, he said, you know, you lost your mind, and it's going to be very expensive, and it's a really hard thing to do. What's your budget? I go, budget? What's that? How do you spell it? In fact, this is the truth, folks. Had we sat down and done a business plan to where we are today, I don't think we would have been here where we are today.
No.
Everything we've done with the Dove television has been a step of faith. Every bit of it. And but anyway, let's fast forward a little bit. You really feel called of God to leave us. But you know what? I came up with this morning. Go back to when I woke up this morning. The thought came to me, you're not leaving.
No, okay. There we go.
We are loaning you to Australia.
All right.
That's the thought that I had this morning.
All right.
We're loaning you to Australia.
That's very gracious.
So you get to go home, spend some time at home. I thought, well, if I could have sent you and Fiona and the boys home for about 6 months and get that out of your system and then come back. But you're going to go home for several weeks and then over to Australia. So I'm going to type Phil a little note. He heads up UCB Australia and say, you have him on loan for a while.
Oh, that's good. You know, we do feel cool. I mean, this has been just a wonderful time being here. We know that God called us to be here. It was about 6 months prior to me contacting you that God really put the tug on our hearts that it was time for change. And as I got talking to you, and it was one day I thought, well, let's talk to Perry. And you know, in a very short space of time, we managed to be over here and just gave up everything that we had and come here. And it's just been wonderful. We wanted to come here to help the Dove, to come for our family for a new adventure. We'd heard all the wonderful things about Southern Oregon and how beautiful it is, and to be able to experience life in America, and to serve God in this way, to see if we could do, as you talked about, to create a new model for Christian television here in North America. And I'm really excited with what we and the whole team here have been able to achieve. It's really a team effort. I mean, when we came, I'd done it once before at Shine TV in New Zealand, but that was different. You know, it's a different environment here in the US. That, you know, it's a different marketplace. You know, this is Southern Oregon. Whatever that means to you.
Well, it means a lot. And you know, but I'll never forget when you and Fiona got off the plane here in Medford, and you had 2 boys at the time. You had Nathaniel and Luke, and you got off, and they had these 2 little boys, and there they were with their suitcase, and that's all they had. And in fact, you actually had pots and pans in your suitcase.
Yeah, the pots and pans, and
they sold
and
everything.
The coffee espresso maker.
They sold
the essentials.
Everything. They liquidated everything and came as missionaries to the Dove. And when you walked off the plane and I saw that, it hit me. I thought, oh my stars, what did they do? And what did I do? But here we are, 4.5 years. I'm going to keep this rolling because we have a lot of fun things planned for this hour. Take a look at this video.
Michael, thank you for all your help the last couple of years. You've just been my go-to guy, and I'm going to miss you a lot, and I don't know what we're going to do here without you.
He's never let us get too comfortable being where we are. He's just pushed us to the next level, I think.
I met Michael 4 years ago when the Dove TV first started, and 4 years later, I'm meeting him again as he's leaving. So it's been interesting knowing Michael for 3 months over 4 years.
With your absence, I will miss being moved frequently in my desk space, but I will like being in one place for a while. We will miss you.
Sorry to see you go. I wish I knew you a little better. I only got to work with you for about 5 months. But I'm losing my security blanket, so hopefully you'll stay in contact. Thanks.
We're going to miss you here. All the great times talking about the differences between Kiwi and Aussie accents. Also learning about the World Cup and the America's Cup. Truly, it's been a pleasure working with you, and we're going to miss you here.
Well, there you go. We have some more of that, but that's Michael playing with the ultimate big boys toy store at the NRV. Playing with in the studio with me now is a couple of people that are here as a result of Michael. In fact, Michael hired both of these guys and trained them. First, we have Daniel Newman, and Daniel now is kind of the guy that's going to be in charge of that entire control room to make sure that we get on on the air. And then we have Josiah Douglas, and Josiah is the guy that makes sure that everything switches, works right during the morning show. And guys, neither one of you knew what a television control room looked like 4 years ago.
Well, I could barely change the channel on my TV at home.
And here you are in the industry. So tell us a little bit about your experience with Michael.
Well, the interesting thing is I actually was here before Michael got here. Steve hired me, and I was really grateful when Michael got here because I knew when he got off the plane, I'm going to learn everything there is about the TV business. And so I was very excited, and as soon as he got here, the learning just took place, and it was like downloading all this new information, and a whole new world of TV had been unlocked.
That's right, because Steve went over to Shine TV to kind of get an idea of what we were in for, and he comes back and he says, we're in a real mess. And the first thing we need to do is hire somebody that can schedule everything, and that's when we reached out and got you.
Yeah.
And then Michael shows up. And then let me tell you a little bit about Josiah before he talks, because he talks a lot. No, I'm just kidding.
I do.
Josiah is a result of the Dove internship program, because when we first got involved with the Dove TV and put it on the air, one of our desires is to teach the next generation media and all aspects of media. So we did a trial run with an internship program, and we had several young people come in, and Michael took them under the wing and began to teach them the various aspects of television. And Josiah kind of bobbed to the top as a guy that had incredible talent in this area. And Michael came to me one day, he says, I think we ought to hire Josiah. And I go, that big tall guy? That big tall guy when he walks in, the lights go out, that guy? He goes, yeah, that guy. So anyway, Josiah, you came as an intern. Today you're one of the main guys that make sure the morning show comes off.
Yeah, that's right. And Michael had a lot to do with that. I mean, I started out, I had done some graphics and some video stuff at my church, and I got into it. I knew that's the kind of stuff I wanted to do, and I heard about the internship. And it was a lot of Michael teaching me how to do different things, and not just how to do it, but why to do it, how to make things look good, and how to make things work, how to do things on a really tight budget, and really, yeah, and it was a lot of Michael's influence that it made me realize that I don't want to be a graphic designer, I don't want to make movies, I want to make TV, and it was Michael who really helped me figure that out.
Well, both of these guys, let me tell you how much Michael made a footprint here. It's taking 4 people to replace him.
Yeah.
It's taken 4, and that's honest to God's truth. It's taken 4 people to replace him. And tomorrow's his last day at the Dove, and then next week he flies home to New Zealand, and then we'll be talking to him a little bit later on, but he'll be going to Australia to work over there and help them set up a complete video department. And but the nature of the Dove, what the Dove is, and who the Dove is, and what we do now has been totally changed as a result of this very talented young man coming into this ministry and making video and television a reality. Any last thoughts on Michael before we go?
I just want to say that Michael has been an incredible mentor. He's been a friend. He's been like an older brother, even though I'm the older one. But we are going to miss you sorely, and your family as well. You know, having you here has been so wonderful.
Okay.
Michael, you've changed my life, and you made me realize what it is that I want to do with my life, and you've taught me so much, and you've done so many great things for me, and I'm really going to miss you.
Okay. We got more about Michael Brown, who is the Dove TV manager, who's leaving us. Tomorrow's his last day, coming up in just a few moments.
Hi, I'm Paulina, and I work at the Dove TV. Did you know that when you support the Dove TV, you have a profound impact, not only in our community, but around the world? It's your continued support that takes the inspiration and hope in the programs we produce and makes them available to the thousands of people who are watching these videos online every week. Help bring encouragement and hope to our valley and beyond by making a secure online donation today at our website, thedove.us.
Okay, we're back, and with me now is the chairman of the board of the Dove Ministries, who is also a gentleman that has grown up from day one over the last 30 years. The Dove is, it's been our 30th anniversary is this month. It's hard to believe it's been 30 years. And Jason, my son, our son, Peggy and I's son, is actually worked on the air back when you were in high school.
I started at the Dove when it was called KDove, and it was only on the air during the daytime.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was as soon as daylight savings would happen, I have to turn the station off.
That's right.
And the FCC used to have a license requirement that you had to be 14.
Yeah.
And so here we were in Christian broadcasting breaking the law because I was not 14.
Well, it was the cheapest help I could get at the time.
But we've gone from there to a little teeny AM, to a very big AM, to a lot of moves, to an FM, to a very small FM, to a very big FM, to a lot of translators, to... And then Al Gore invented the internet, and that helped. Yeah. And then we went to television, and television was just like the Dove was 30 years ago. It was teeny, teeny, teeny. It was only on essentially in the daytime, and it was so bad in ratings that we didn't even register in the ratings book.
That's
and now, large part to some kid that came over from New Zealand, we are what the Dove is. And I think the Dove now is poised to be something much bigger than number one in all the areas that we're number one in the region. I think we're really poised to take this format nationally, and so that's really in large part to Michael. I think if there's a vacuum here, it's that kind of vision that he brought to the program and brought to this crazy thing called Roku and all the other technical things. I mean, people don't have any idea that we're sitting outside right now, but you'd never know it. So that's all Michael.
Well, Michael came to us 4.5 years ago, as you know, and television was one of those things we toyed around with. We had opportunities and lost them, and then all of a sudden we literally had a gentleman. I had never met this gentleman in my entire life. He walked through the door. He called me and he said, "Are you going to be there? You don't know me. I want to talk to you." He comes in. He says, "I have a television license for Medford. I am from Klamath Falls, and I believe the Lord wants you to have this television license." And at the time I thought, yeah, right, I've heard these stories before, but it was true. And he dumped this license in our lap, and he gave it to us. And all of a sudden, we had 4 months to get something on the air, and Michael had come, and we didn't even know where to start. We didn't know anything where to go. And as you well know, Jason, those days sitting in those board meetings, here we are. The Dove TV is now on 3 cable channels. It's on Roku, which is being seen in 50 states. And we are now being watched, I think, in 26 countries. A week or so ago, we had some analytics that said that 20,000 people watched the Dove channel on Roku, and the average time watching it was 58 minutes. So we went from nothing to that.
You have to have grown up in radio and television to know what average is, an average quarter hour means, and it's a little technical, but that's very important to listeners who are just tuning in. That's a big deal.
Okay. So. Well, listen, as chairman of the board, what would you like to say to Michael? Tomorrow's his last day, and then he and his family hop on a plane, go to New Zealand for about 8 weeks, and then over to Australia.
Well, I'd like to say 2 things to him. First of all, I'd like to say, take me with you.
There you go.
So, I think
he wants to go fishing over there.
I think as he looks back on his career, I hope this is a real bright spot. And I hope that the opportunity to keep collaborating with Michael and really the whole UCB family, I hope continues. I feel like once you're part of the Dove, you're never not part of the Dove. So the fact that he's going to be in a different time zone, actually he's going to be a day ahead of us. I think that I don't think that's going to be a bad thing. I think his career is going to continue to grow and prosper. But as he looks back, I want this to be a real bright spot because he took something that was nothing and made it into what it is now. And really, he laid down the foundation for what I think is going to be a really big, important channel in the United States in the next 5 years.
All right. Well, thank you, Jason, for coming in. Again, we got a little bit more video to show you on Michael.
Throw it out there.
Who knows where we're going to be in a year?
I remember a funny instance when Michael Brown used a coat rack full of coats to sneak through the studio and not be seen. And the funny thing is, nobody noticed the moving coat rack.
Michael, I was told I don't have to do a poem, but I really want to. Michael Brown, you are the coolest guy in town.
Michael, we are going to miss your expertise as well as your passion for coffee that we all want to enjoy. And by the way, I think the coffee pot's empty. We need more.
One of the things I'm gonna miss about Michael is his accent. Now that he's gone, I'm the only person here that no one understands. So Michael, please come back.
All right, we're back, and in the studio with me now to pay tribute to Michael Brown, who's the Dove TV channel manager, who's leaving us. Tomorrow's his last day. Steve Johnson, who does the news, Jim McCoy, who does the sports, and helps put the news together. And gentlemen, a very difficult time for us to make this adjustment.
Yeah, well, we're finding some jobs have to be kind of splayed around to do different things, and we've been able to work with the production team and how we do news, so there's always that transition that goes on there.
Steve, you and I have been working together for many, many years, and been in radio a long time, but when we popped the television idea on you, what were you thinking?
Well, when I remember, it was actually in this very room.
Yeah, because your desk was right there.
That's right, yeah. Well, and at that time, it was a kitchen before then.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah,
I mean, it was
there's a kitchen. Oh, no, wait, my desk was there and yours was over there. That's right.
It's had many morphing modes. Yeah. But I remember that I was sitting here with Dennis from New Zealand and Michael, and they were down here telling us about what it would take to put the station together. And Michael, of course, is one who loves whiteboards.
Yeah.
So we had this big whiteboard on the back wall, and he was showing the flow chart. It looked like a nuclear, either it was a nuclear plant we were building, or it was a mobilization for how the Kiwis were going to invade Australia. It was one of the two.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we saw the extent of that, and I thought, wow, this is really pretty involved. And then that's when I went over to New Zealand to see their operation, because from a TV standpoint, theirs was even relatively small compared to some TV stations, and ours had to be smaller yet. So it was overwhelming on both levels, actually.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jim, how's going television impacted you? You've been in radio and sports for a long time, and now your mug's on TV. And
that means I have to shave in the morning and actually clean up in the morning. Yeah. But it's added a whole new dimension to things. It's opened up what we do to a whole brand new audience. That's been the really exciting part, especially now with us being on Roku, all the different apps, things we've been able to do. And now, you think about it now, when we go over to the coast for Cascade Christian games to do a tournament over there, there'll be people who live in those local markets who'll be able to hear how their team is doing against Cascade Christian. That's just one example of how TV and all the different things the Dove is doing. And Michael's been a big part of that. He's always been such an outside-the-box kind of thinker. So much to the point you don't dare go on vacation because you know when you come back a week later, everything will be different.
Well, your desk will be moved.
That's probably the one positive. My desk will actually stay in the same place for more than 2 weeks.
Yeah, there you go. Well, one other thing, Steve, before I let you guys go, we all chatted about the possibility, could we take the successful Dove radio morning show and put it on TV and not make it sound like it's a radio program on TV? And we worked hard at that, and you were kind of scratching your head and going, well, yeah, I guess we could do that.
Yeah, and we've had to, as Jim mentioned, kind of adapt that to sports and radio as well, just in the style presentation, because we're pretty much doing the same type of thing, but how do you enhance it that way so it works on both? You're right, that was a challenge.
Well, anyway, a couple of other guys that have been impacted by Michael. Before I let you guys go, any last thoughts to Mike?
Well, I'm sure there always will be. But tomorrow's his last day, so I can't give a last thought on Thursday because he'll be here tomorrow.
Okay, Jim.
Well, you know, it's been neat not only on a professional level but a family level as well. All our kids are roughly right around the same age. It's been fun watching them over the 4.5 years he's been here grow up together and watch some of those relationships developed. And I know particularly of a son and a daughter who are really going to miss Nathaniel, Luca, and Asher.
And again, what I have in front of me here is the award that the Dove TV received when it was only 2 years old, and we got Station of the Year from the National Religious Broadcasters Association. I have to tell you, a total shock. We're 2 years old, we get the Station of the Year, and it's because of Michael and his innovation and his desire to build a different kind of Christian television channel. And the NRB recognized it and awarded the Dove TV Station of the Year in 2012. So we're going to honor Michael a little bit more when we come back.
Hi, I'm Daniel and I work at the Dove TV. You know, compared to Portland, Seattle, and LA, Medford might be considered a small market. But at the Dove, we're excited about the opportunity to make a big impact right here in our community. And you help make that happen. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us now by making a secure online donation at our website, thedove.us, or by phoning 541-776-5368.
Well, we're back, and today's a very special day on Focus Today because we're honoring one of our own, and I don't think we've ever done it. And but today it's well deserving of Michael Brown. He is the Dove TV channel master, and he came to us from New Zealand, from Shine TV, about 4.5 years ago. And now he feels called to go home for about 8 weeks and get reconnected with his family. And then he'll be going over to UCB Australia, where he will be setting up a lot of video production for UCB Australia, kind of starting over for what he did here at the Dove TV. With me now is Paulina Leiser.
Good morning.
Good morning, newly married, and Sue Schneider, and 2 other women in Michael's life. And, well, let me start with you, Sue. You have been with the Dove a long, long time, and you've seen it go up and down. You sweat it out week in and week out with me, and when I said television, I thought she was going to kill me.
Yeah. And it's just about killed both of us.
What did you think?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was another thing. I mean, things were pretty easy there for a while, just, you know, riding smooth. We knew what we were doing, and then you threw in this other wrench, and I had no idea what we were going to do or how it was going to work, or, you know, how we were going to pay for it or any of that. I always worry about money. That's the first thing that comes to my mind.
But, you do, and you know, we were sitting there, and I know you kept asking, well, what's it going to cost? What's the budget? And I don't recommend this for anybody. You got to do what God tells you to do, but I just felt like we needed to do this. It was a step of faith, and we went out. So anyway, Michael comes over. Do you remember the day they arrived?
Yes, I do. Actually, and I'd been, you know, conversing a little bit with Fiona about medical things and where to live and what schools were like, and so we kind of had an idea of, you know, things that were on their mind, obviously, and they just walked out, and Fiona's just this tiny little gal, and she had these 2 little boys with her, and Michael, and I'd already met Michael, but and they just, you know, they were just exhausted, but they were so happy to be here. And I took her, we brought to the station, and then I took her for the first time. I mean, they just walked off the plane, and they were going to have to move into an apartment, and we went to Walmart. And if you take someone that's come from a little tiny island that, you know, they have 1 or 2 options on things to buy, and you take them to someplace like Walmart, she was just blown away. Yeah, overwhelmed. And so we got her moved in. It was fun.
Well, Paulina, you're here as a result of Michael, and well,
he was one of the people who interviewed me.
Well, yes, he was, and I was, and Steve was, but we realized quickly that the job that Michael was creating and producing a morning show was overwhelming. In fact, it still is overwhelming. But we needed a producer and somebody that had some experience in all of those areas. And the way you came to us, that's a whole other story. But you've had a chance now to work with Michael, and I know you've had previous television media experience, but how was Michael different working with for you?
Well, my first impression of Michael wasn't exactly what I discovered once I started working here. When I think of Michael, it's the bundle of energy, you know, that bunny energizer that keeps going. Michael, whether he eats, whether he talks on the phone, produces, directs, he just never stops. And I guess Fiona is there to balance him off because crazy
burnout.
Yeah. So he has all this energy, and so we kind of allowed him to wear our hats sometimes. And in producing the show, I was just, you know, Bill mentioned that he's losing his security blanket. I'm losing my, I don't know if it's a pillow or a cushion or what it is, but in producing the show and being in the studio, having Michael had been, I don't know what we're going to do without him, because his ideas, just on the spot, he comes with these brilliant ideas. Oh, let's do this. Let's, you know, he's watching the feed, he's creating the graphic, he's directing, so he's doing all those things at the same time. So this is one of the things that is a little bit of scary with his departure, because now we have to learn how to do all those things that he's been doing. But the energy that he's had, and I'm sure that he's brought, I don't know how energetic you guys were before he came here, but having him on the morning show definitely helped us wake up and do what we did.
Well, you're going to be the only one left with an accent around here.
I know. That's going to be tough.
We had a Brit, and we got used to that. We had a Kiwi, and there are moments where that's still hard to understand.
Yeah.
And then we have a Siberian here, and well, you know what's so interesting to me is, and you're right, both of you are right, the energy that Michael brings to the job is unbelievable. But I wish I had a camera. I wish I could hold a camera and just walk around and show you here everything in the room next to us, right through that window there, in this room here. That young man physically did himself. He wired it. He made it all work. He got all the computers to work. And along the way, he's teaching us what to do. When I told him we were going to do the morning show on television, he didn't blink an eye. What did he do? He didn't even tell Sue. He went out and bought this big tube thing of wire and ran it from that room clear over to where the radio studio is, up in the ceiling. In fact, he had me crawling around up there, and I stepped through the ceiling. And we strung this wire, brought it down so we could run the audio between the two rooms. Michael did all of that.
He did all of this.
He wired his whole room.
We saw the video.
Yeah,
and he saved you money a lot, too.
Yeah, that's his favorite expression. He saves me money while he's spending money.
Yeah, yeah. He's kind of like...
Sue, I need to save you some money. Can I have the credit card?
I'm not going to pay this much for it. I'm only going to pay this much for it.
I'm saving money.
But an incredible step of faith. And so any last thoughts, Polina?
Just a big thank you.
No crying now. I see the tears in your eyes.
Why did you have to say? And God bless you. God bless Fiona and the boys. You've been a family, and you will be a family. So, like Perry, I hope this is not the last time we see you guys. And just don't forget us. Please come back, like I said in the video.
Okay.
I can't say
I understand that too. I was hoping we wouldn't get to that part, but. Let me say this, as I told Michael earlier, Michael, you're not leaving us. We're putting you on loan in Australia. But we have another video. Take a look. And this is Michael bloopers. Have you ever? This is its own TV show. Michael bloopers.
The show is live from our radio studio, but with a television approach to microphones, headphones, lighting, and of course our fixed camera placement. Meld that together with a chroma key and guest via Skype video, and you have a truly unique blend that works. So I'll bring it up from here, but then but that's when you may want to swing around. And we converted the office space into a television studio in the good old Kiwi fashioned way. Dumb. Again? Anything else? The TV news is important because it gives us a local connection. Okay, as I start reading, you can slowly pull it up. Right. Radio, television content, and web exclusive content, which sounds like I was stumbling over myself, so I'll start that again. But to be competitive in the news marketplace, it has to be good as well. And I can't read my writing. All right, that's not important. All right. Some long hours painting, and this doesn't make sense. And a promo for that tonight's... Nah, I got it before. Cut. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay. Anyway, you don't need much anyway, because this thing's going to end up being far too long anyway. I mean, okay, cool. That work? Okay.
Don't have that much time.
No.
Well, there you go, Michael Brown. We're doing a special tribute to Michael Brown. He is the whole guy, really, the main guy behind the TV channel, and I know he doesn't like to be recognized in that capacity because it is a team effort, but he's the guy that put the team together, and he's the guy that literally put the television station on the air. And he's going back to New Zealand for about 8 weeks to be with his family, and then over to Australia to join the UCB Australia group. In the studio with me, we have Bill Witt, who is our recent addition to the staff. He is our Chief Engineer, and Bruce Workman, who heads up Sales and Development for the Dove. And gents, well, Bruce, first of all, you've been in television since Hector was a pup, right?
Well, about that many years.
Yeah. And how long have you been in broadcast engineering?
Geez, probably about 7 years now.
There you go. All right, let's start with you, Bruce. Your thoughts on Michael today?
Well, my thoughts on Michael is I'd like to see more bloopers.
Yeah.
Can we rerun that?
Yeah.
That's fine. Well, one of the things that I noticed about Michael, first off, when I came here, and of course through the nearly 2 years that I've been here, is that he talks with his hands.
Yeah.
And the more excited he gets, the more he moves his hands around.
Yeah.
No, but seriously though, I have had good fortune to be in television for all my career, and I've been able to see some very large facilities down to some very small facilities. And I must say, when I first came here and we first had our 22.5-second tour, and the vision that we had on putting the TV on, I mean, actually the live show, I thought, good luck.
Yeah.
But the quality that we've done here and the attention to detail has just been extraordinary. And I credit that to Mr. Brown.
Bill, you actually came from another television operation to the Dove, and you walked in here. You came with probably from a situation where the facility was a whole lot nicer and you had a bigger budget.
A little bit bigger. They had deep pockets.
Okay, but you came in here, and your thoughts?
I love it here. That's why I came here, for sure. The atmosphere is 3,000 times better than it was, for sure. I mean, I love the heart of God that everybody has here. It's just fantastic to work here, for sure.
And Michael?
And Michael, I love the guy. I wish I had more time to work with him. In the video role, I called him my security blanket. He's kind of my... Instead of trying to figure it out myself, I just look up and go, "Hey, Mike," and I just kind of look over and get the answer from him, but I'm going to miss him.
Well, gents, as you know, the Dove is forever changed. The reason you're here is because of Michael Brown and what he did in transforming the Dove ministry into a video content production house along with the television station, and we're going to miss him deeply. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got some very special things from Michael, so we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Paula, and I work at the Dove TV. Every day we get letters and emails from people who've been encouraged, blessed, and challenged by the programs on the Dove TV. But we couldn't do it without you. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us continue to bring inspiration and hope to our community by making a secure online donation at our website, thedove.us, or call us at 541-776-5368.
Have changed the Dove forever. We will never be the same organization because of you. It's hard to believe that 5 years has come and gone. Oregon's loss is going to be Australia's gain, and a Kiwi going with Aussie is still a little bit mind-boggling, but we wish you the best. We love you, and we can't wait to see you at the NRB soon. And we wish you and Fiona and the boys the very best. God bless you, my friend. Well, we're back with Michael Brown, and Michael Brown heads up the TV, the Dove TV, put it on the air from nothing to what it is today, and you are leaving us, and that's a sad thing for us to even process, Michael, but God is calling you, and one of the things about this that is so impacting to me, and I hope I can communicate this to our viewers and listeners. It's very rare where you find a young man as yourself to hear the voice of God, to sell everything when you have a family, and literally consider it a missionary call and come to America as a media missionary, do what you've done, and to accept that call again is very, very rare. But I remember when I was in Bible college, and one of my professors said what a missionary call is. And basically is where you leave everybody you love, you give up everything you have to go to a place that you know nobody, you can barely speak the language, to preach the gospel, to create a relationship to preach the gospel. And you did that. You did it here. Now, we're not quite that strange, we're not quite that first world, but that was what God spoke to you, and God did it again, and I hope your family's okay with this idea.
You know what? I have the most amazing wife. Fiona's just she's incredible, and that's part of how I know that God is in it. Is that we always, we walk in agreement, and God speaks to both of us. And you said it right when you don't choose what God wants you to do in life or the path that He would have for you. I mean, our prayer in our heart has always been, God, would you use us where you want us to be? And when you made that decision, well, we don't want to live life not for material gain or for career advancement, but God, how can you use the abilities that you have given us? Because they're nothing of our own. They're all the giftings that God gives each one of us. How can you use those? And He brought us here, and I know that makes you sad, but you have to look also at what God has done at the individuals, as an incredible team. Each one of the individuals here at the Dove, an incredibly talented pool, not just myself, but God has brought here, each with their own stories and background, and God has brought them here to create this channel, the Dove, that ministers. I could never have dreamt that the Dove would reach this, and even the doors that God has surprised us as He's opened here, and most recently with not only with charter and with the terrestrial and on the coast with the radio, but with Roku. I couldn't have known how God would use that.
It's just an amazing thing. Well, Michael is going to Australia, and your title there is what? They give you a title, it's kind of a camouflage title.
Sure, it's an online strategy manager, and it's using it's helping with a lot of the online media. And so it sounds complicated, but it's all about taking the content and how can we reach more people through the new technology. And a part of that will be the video as well, but it's doing a lot of what we've done here at the Dove, which is saying it's not just about radio and it's not just about television. Technology's changed. People connect through iPads, tablets, Androids. How can we reach people for the gospel where they are at?
All right. Well, listen, your friends in Australia want to welcome you. Take a look.
G'day! Mike and Fiona and the Billy Lids over there in the US of A. We're from Australia. And this bunch of crazy people have got some good Aussie stuff here for you, mate. You're going to love it when you come down here, I'll tell you. Look at this. We got the big banana. We got the Opera House over here. You could live there, mate. That's beautiful. You got to get into this stuff. Big jar of Vegemite, beautiful. Some koalas and kangaroos, and that's a big orange. Isn't that a big orange? We've got the big everything here. If you thought Texas was big, mate, just keep going south. We've got a big merino, we've got an emu and a kookaburra and a big pineapple even over here, and a platypus and a kangaroo, and I don't know where that is.
South Australia.
I think that one's in New Zealand. And here's one of your staff. Crocodiles and all sorts of wonderful things that might eat you while you're over here. So on behalf of all the crazy team here at UCB Australia, we're really looking forward to you coming over, mate. And I know the Dove's loss and Oregon's loss is going to be Australia's gain. So good on you. We're looking forward to you coming. And from all of us here, g'day! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Oi, oi, oi! Aussie! Oi! Aussie! Oi! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie!
Well, with that kind of welcoming committee, do I get to reconsider? No, it's okay. It's still coming. We're still coming.
Well, there you go. They're looking forward to you being there, and the only thing I can say is good day, mate. Well, Michael, we love you, and I told Phil very clearly you're on loan. So anyway, we have a bunch of flags, American flags and Kiwi flags, and we got a cake that says, "Yeah, thanks, Kiwi Browns. We'll miss you. There's no question about that." And as a little bit of a parting gift, I know what's the hottest day in Australia? Not the hottest. What's the winter day? What's the winter temperature?
It's going to get cold. It's going to get into maybe the low 70s.
Oh dear. So,
maybe the high 60s. You know,
that's a cold day.
That's a cold day.
Okay, so we couldn't get you a Oregon jacket to take to Australia. So we got you a. This says the Dove on the back. And Dove TV and the Dove there, a Australian windbreaker.
That looks perfect. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Thank you.
Anyway, Michael, you have. I can't do it.
Well.
Thank you, Michael. And there's a long invisible tether on that jacket.
Yeah. It's like a bungee cord. It'll bring you back.
We'll pull you back when we need you.
I want to say that I think Jason said it right when he said, I will always look on this as a high point. This has been the most amazing period in our life. It's I think God calls us for tours of duty. And the time that He has called us to be here, to serve here, to minister here is most amazing. You're the most amazing team, the most talented. You live in the second most beautiful place on the planet, second to New Zealand. But the climate is wonderful here, and you are all just wonderful. And I think you're very special. What you have here is unique, and I love you all very much.
Thank you for what you've done. I may add that on this 747 here on the cake, it does not have a kiwi on the tail. It has a kangaroo.
I see a kangaroo there.
Thanks to Albertsons for doing that. I just told them what I wanted.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, what are you giving up as a Kiwi becoming an Aussie? I mean, that's kind of like the ducks and the beeves. I mean, there's this civil war going on.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, you can move to Australia, but I'll always support the All Blacks. So you got to have your priorities right when it comes to sport. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for everything you have done for the Dove, and you mean to all of us individually. We're going to miss you, but you know, you're only an email away. We'll probably see you at the NRB, and we just look forward to God calling you back.
You're just going to have to bring your kids and your wife with you when you come to the NRB.
Oh, by the way, before we go, they are taking an American home with them.
Yes.
They had little Asher, who was born in the United States, so you're taking an American citizen back.
We have an Amerikiwi, and Medford will always be his hometown.
Yeah.
I think that's special. So we'll have a connection, and we'll be back here for sure.
Okay. All right. God bless you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
And the best to you and Fiona. And yay!
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Hi, I'm Jim and I work at the Dove TV. Every weekday between 6 and 8 a.m., our award-winning news and sports team bring you the best morning show around. It's live, it's honest, and it's a whole lot of fun. And you help make it happen. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us continue to air local programs that share your voice by making a secure online donation at our website, theDove.us.